Is there any issue having multiple artists under the same DistroKid account? Are there any conflictions? Long story short, no. I've gotten a lot of comments and questions and DMs of people saying, hey, Mark, I have multiple artists under this one account, or I have my artist under this one account, but my friend also releases his music under the same account. Is there any issue? Is there any confliction? Now, I want to say this. One, if, like, say you are your own artist, you should have your own DistroKid account. I will say I think it just makes things easier. Might as well say that. But the second thing is, if, like, say you're under, or, like, say you and your friends have a band, for example. This is kind of relevant to a question I just got. If, like, say you have a band and you're releasing music under that band name on DistroKid, under the band's DistroKid account. But then, like, say you also have another artist that's kind of like you and one other person in that band, or just you, or someone else in the band as a solo project, and they also release it under that same DistroKid account. Is there any issue? No. When it comes to, like, say, the way stores receive the metadata and all the information, for the most part, all they really see is who's the artist. So, like, say you sign in, and, like, say your actual DistroKid account, in terms of your, like, login information, is Joe Schmo. But then your band's name is Bob Smith, and then you have a solo project called Mark Smith, for example, right? When you release music under Bob Smith, it goes to stores, everything appears under Bob Smith, no issue. And then, like, say if you have your own solo project, or let's say you and someone else in the band has your own kind of side project, and you release it under Mark Smith, really no issue. Really no issue. Now, I will say this. I think that if, like, say you're really dedicated to a certain solo project or individual project or side project or whatever, in addition to your band's project, I do think just logistically, in terms of logging in, keeping everything same, it makes, I think, more sense, in my opinion, to have your own separate DistroKid account. A big reason why I suggest this a lot, actually, is because the banking section, now you can very easily, and I mean very, very, very easily, pick what artist actually received the royalties. You can do splits. DistroKid does make this easy. But one thing I will say is this, like, as you can imagine, if, like, you have a band of 5 members, and 2 of those members create their own side project or, like, a separate artist project, and you're still releasing it all under the same DistroKid account, like, say we just pick the artist, like, say you have 2 different artist slots, logistically, not really any issues in terms of the way the stores receive the information. So that's good. You don't have to worry about, in some way, shape, and form, your band's songs and your, like, side project songs getting conflicted or meshed together. That's not going to happen. So on the store's end, Spotify, RDO, Deezer, Tidal, Apple Music, etc. On the store's end, you have nothing to worry about, which is good. You have nothing to worry about, like, say there's somehow being some kind of disconnect or one song being released in this place or this place. You don't have to worry about that. But I do think logistically, especially, like I said, dealing with the banking section and whatnot, there is, I think, a big advantage to just having your own DistroKid account, of actually being involved with a lot of different people. That being said, remember, when you release music on DistroKid, you could have one account with 10 different artists, 100 different artists, if, like, you have a label. Doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, all the stores really see, when they're looking at all the information, all the stores really see is what artist you're releasing the music under.